Welcome to the place where if you refuse to subscribe to my channel as an atheist, you're still going to end up watching my video because the very next day you're going to type in atheist, sort by new, and even if that doesn't work, I'm going to show up in the suggested videos. So basically, fate brings us together. With that being said, I want to follow up on a recent video I had made. Received so many comments. It was a pretty popular video. I think, honestly, one of my best atheist videos. It was called, Do Atheists Think That My Quality of Life Would Improve If I Didn't Believe in God? So a couple days old, had 118 views, 61 comments, which basically means for every one who watched the video, at least 1 out of 2 left a comment. 4 thumbs up and actually two thumbs down. That's perhaps my first atheist video that received twice the amount of likes than dislikes. So I think there was something definitely interesting and smart about me making that video. Again, called, Do Atheists Think My Quality of Life Would Improve If I Didn't Believe in God? Now, as you start looking through these comments, which again are like 64 of them, what you're going to see is, as atheists tried to answer my question, ultimately the answer was no. I would not, my quality of life would not improve if I were an atheist. Now, there were all these things about, but then I'd see the truth. But ultimately, maybe the truth wouldn't make me happier. And so as I look through these comments, here's what really became obvious to me, is that ultimately, atheists don't make good salesmen. Atheists don't make good pitchmen. Atheists don't make good recruiters. That's what I am about for a living. I don't know. Imagine that I don't just make YouTube videos, which do make me thousands of dollars a year, but that's not how I make my main income. I'm a recruiter and I'm good at it. I'm one of the most successful ones at my company. So I know how to recruit people. I know how to sell things. I know the basics of it. And I just made a video talking about, the 5 basic tips of being a good salesman. So with that being said, I'm looking through all these comments and there's just no person on here who can give me one good reason why I'd be happier. And that's the whole thing. The concept is this. Part of being a good salesman is you have to acknowledge that out of all of your potential people that might buy something from you or whatever it is, they're not all motivated by the same thing. When you're selling a product, some people are more motivated by how much the cost is, or the concept of how glorious it makes you seem, or how special it makes you seem. Some are there because of location or convenience, etc. And you have to know that the moment you tap into whatever they're there for and why they might be interested, then you have their attention, then you have their respect, and that's how you start gaining leverage. But see, something I've noticed culturally, and I am using the word culturally about atheists, is that they don't get that concept. Generally, on my videos, the first place they start is they often, and I'm not so many inches of this anymore because I've brought it up so much that people stop doing it because they realize that they're wasting their own time. But they'll want to try to start with an attempt to insult or offend me, which is impossible because I don't give anyone that power, especially not atheists on YouTube, the power to offend me. But that's where they start. It's like, no, if you're trying to convince someone against what they already believe, which often is impossible, but it is possible, then what you have to be aware of is, no, attempting to insult them obviously is not going to work, but ultimately, what is their motivation? And I think what happens with atheists, they don't know what the motivation of getting a Christian to stop believing is. Now, granted, motivated by different things. What's funny is I made a video a couple weeks ago sharing, as far as if there is doubt in my faith, what would it be about? And no one even acknowledged it. No one even ran away with it and made a big deal about it. And that was this. Ultimately, it's the concept of, I didn't ask to be born. Imagine that we're all here. None of us were asked to be born, but yet still, as part of the Christian faith, you're put in a situation where you have to proactively acknowledge, oh yes, God exists. Oh yes, I was born a sinner. Oh yes, I must be saved. Okay? So that was my vulnerability. That was me being real with everyone. And no one really even seemed to care about that. Like, if you were really trying to make me not be a Christian anymore, there would have been like more feedback on that, but people didn't. So I gave you my secret and you didn't do anything with it. Now, with that being said, I'm not a man who's doubting my faith, but I'm just saying out of all the, a lot of atheists get caught up in this thing about proving that God doesn't exist. What I'm telling you right now is, you will not be able to make me stop believing in God, I'll tell you that. But if you even stood a chance, which you don't, it would be, you're losing me anytime you're debating about God being real or not. I don't care about that, because my faith is stronger than, the feeling that I'm right about it or wrong about it. No, that's not what it's about. It's more fundamental than that. But atheists that are still trying to convert me, even though it's basically impossible to convert anyone, for the most part, out of it. Now, I understand people have been converted out of it, but I'm someone who is so deep in this with my identity protective cognition, that the more you tell me how wrong I am, the more it reinforces what I already believe. But the point is this: if atheists were good at recruiting and they were good at sales, they would know that they're wasting their time most of the time by trying to prove that God doesn't exist, because that's not what motivates even the general population. Like, it just sounds like you're trying to invite them to an unfun party, is what it sounds like. So I'm like, going back, like I said in the video, can anybody convince me how my quality of life would improve if I were an atheist? Basically, no one was able to even give any kind of answer that even said that it could. In fact, basically people were saying, ultimately, ignorance is bliss. If you're happy the way you are, then no, being an atheist wouldn't necessarily make you happier. In fact, you'd actually lose a lot of things. Someone said it would be like losing someone close to you. It's like, someone you really care about, and then they die and they're not part of your life anymore, and then you have to come to terms with that. So if anything, people were painting a darker picture. And what I'm getting at is this: whether it's Christians or whether it's the general population, I think one of the reasons Christianity continues to be powerful, as it has been for thousands of years, is because it provides hope. And I think hope sells. I think truth doesn't sell. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying that what I believe is Christian, that I don't think that is the truth. For me, it is truth. It's what I believe. It's my version of truth. It's also hope. And what I'm saying is, I think another reason atheists aren't good salesmen is because instead of selling hope, they're selling truth. And hope sells better than truth. Because ultimately, what is truth? We can't prove that. We have our versions of truth, but we can't prove that. Ultimately, what's going to make me feel better? To believe in this thing that makes me feel good, not about only the rest of my life, but the life after this, that I have hope to see people that I have loved and care about and aren't here anymore, and that there's a better future for me. That's hope. Compared to, but you could be able to see the truth. No, I think if given the choice, most people will simply choose hope over truth. And with that being said, it's impossible to prove that there is no God. Therefore, it's that much of an easier reason why hope, the hope of Christianity, is going to outsell the truth of atheism. And that's why so many atheists too, they keep coming back to this concept that I'm living a lie. A lot of people like to say that I'm a hypocristian, like a hypocritical Christian, because I'm living a lie. And the lie that I'm living is that because they think God is not real. So therefore, I'm automatically a hypocrite. I'm automatically ignorant. I'm automatically all of these things. But yet I'm telling you, hey guys, I'm happy though. I really like my life the way it is. It reminds me of in the movie Shallow Hal, which I know didn't get great reviews, but I've seen it so many times. And at the end of the movie, Jason Alexander's character is talking to Jack Black's character, and as it's being explained what was going on with being hypnotized, and how Jack Black was attracted to these females that mainstream society didn't see as physically attractive. After that's explained to Jason Alexander, he says, oh yeah, I guess I kind of messed it up for you, didn't I? Once he, kept him from being hypnotized anymore. So it's ultimately like, you know what? I'm happy this way. Even if I'm wrong, I'm happy. And I know, again, people like to say Pascal's wager. Maybe that's how you perceive it. To me, this is truth. So to me, I already have truth. I think for a lot of people, hope is truth more than the atheist version of truth is actually truth. I just don't think that atheists are good salesmen, ultimately because they don't know what motivates the actual people. What they're doing as atheists is thinking, well, here's how I believe, therefore this is how I recruit this person. In reality, most people don't think. Atheists are the minority, especially in America. So when you use atheist mentality to recruit people who are atheists, it's not effective. Christianity is going to sell more hope than atheists can sell their perceived truth. Your comments belong right here.